So today I have the pleasure of welcoming to the Executive Suite R&B singer and amazing songwriter that has the #1 R&B song in the country and killing social media right now. Muni Long, what's going on?
Hello. What's going on?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing? How you feeling? How you feeling? Talk to me.
I'm happy. I'm blessed. I'm like, every day I wake up and it's more good news. I'm just excited to be the one that gets to have this song.
Yes, yes. Congratulations on your hit, Hours and Hours. You've been in the industry for some years, mostly behind the scenes as a songwriter. But how does it feel being recognized and celebrated as a solo artist? I'm gonna use the word again, going on right now.
I think it's just a relief. It's like finally I can stop fighting for my spot. It's like
Yes.
Before for many, many years, I was just like always having to fight and scrap for just a little tiny crumb. I'm just like trying to prove to people how talented I am. It's like, there's this thing in the industry where it's like, we got to keep you humble, just humble enough. We let you know that you're good enough so that you can keep giving us that amazing stuff, but we want to keep you humble. I want to get you too big head, because then you're going to stop messing with us. You're going to give us what we need. So I was under that spell for a while. And now that I've broken free, I'm just super excited, relieved. It's just like a weight off my shoulders. Now I can just finally be myself.
Okay. So before we get into your EP, Public Display and Affections, right? Am I saying it right? PDA?
Public Displays of Affection, yeah.
Okay. So before we get into that, for the listeners that don't know you, can you take them back just a little bit? Because you've been in the industry since about age 2. But what made you say, hey, listen, you know what? Let me take this to YouTube at that point in time?
I don't know. I think I've just always used the tools that were available to me at the time. Like, for example, with Hours and Hours, I found that beat on YouTube.
Okay.
I've just never been afraid to pick up a stick and try to make something out of it. I'm just very creative. I'm not some mastermind. I think the most brilliant thing that I've done is be human and learn how to speak to people with compassion and care, and authentic, connection. And I think that is the reason why the song is doing what it's doing. I think my TikTok and my social medias are blowing up because I actually care about my supporters. I respond. I try my best to like every comment and respond to as many as I can. Repost.
Doing an amazing job, by the way.
Thank you. I just really care about them, because it's like, y'all are the ones that are out there telling people about me and streaming and coming to the shows when I do have shows and buying the merch, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. So let's talk about when you got signed and what happened in that situation. And was that one of the situations that made you move more into songwriting?
I got signed in 2008, and how it normally happens is you think you made it, right? You think this is it, mama, I made it. But it turns out there's a lot more work to be done after you ink that deal. And the song that was going to radio was a very the Black Katy Perry, very four on the floor. And it didn't do what everybody thought it was going to do. And so when it started, kind of plummeting, going downhill, I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I don't want to go back to my mom's house. So I just decided, okay, I'm going to be a songwriter, because that's what everybody was telling me. That's where the money's at. So I just quickly, made that 360, and I began writing songs for other people just as a way to put food on the table. And then it turns out I was actually really good at it.
Yeah. And talking about being really good at it, Rihanna, Mariah Carey, Mary J. Blige, Ariana Grande, Selena Gomez, Pitbull, Madonna, we could keep the list going on and on. Do you have like a favorite person that you've worked with or you were able to be in the studio with at the time?
Mariah, she's always gonna
Okay.
be at the top of the list. Like she's so amazing. She's an incredible, you know, songwriter, singer. She's just divinely gifted. And just, it's called, I call it getting it by osmosis. Just being in the room with her, you're gonna learn so much just about how to carry yourself, um, how to manipulate a track. Like she's just incredible.
Okay. From talking to a lot of different R&B artists, I never really know about writing camps. Were you ever part of any writing camps that you could tell us about, or anything about that?
I've been a part of a few writing camps just as a songwriter. I hate them. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
It's just like it's a big
Okay.
cattle cause. Like, we writing all these songs and you leave after the week and there's 300 songs and one of them might make the album. It really is just like
Wow.
I don't know. I just don't like it. It's like, I'd rather not. Just
I
do
got
me.
it. Okay. I got you. I got you. And you seem like a somewhat a secretive person. Would you be able to tell us your creative writing process? How when a song comes to you, is it the beat first sometimes? Is it the lyrics? Like, can you tell us about your process?
I think it just depends. It's like, I'm not afraid to share my process because it's very hard to like duplicate unless you are authentically tapped in with, God, like that God frequency where he could just like whisper in your ear and give you these melodies and rhythms. It's like, I'm just like really in tune with that, like being able to channel these messages and like songs that we will need in the next year, instead of like talking about jewelry or talking about cars and clothes. And
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. I have those songs too, but I think there are certain moments when that divine timing aligns with where I'm at frequency wise, and I come up with a record like Hours and Hours. Sometimes it's guitar, I write to guitar or piano. Sometimes I'll get a melody just like butt naked, like in my mind, nothing, no beat, nothing. Sometimes I'll have a lyric and I'll write it down. Other times I'll get a beat and I'll just start freestyling, to cut the mic on, let's go. So it really just depends.
Okay. So with writing for, I think it was about 10, 12 years, what made you say, hey, you know what? It's time for me to focus on my solo career at this point in time? And also change your name.
All right. I think sometimes you just get tired of like doing the same thing every day. Like you want more. It's like, sometimes you might have a really good job that pays you really well, but I just don't like the job. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do something else. I want to quit my corporate job and I want to go be a bartender. I want to go start my own restaurant, or I want to, have an art store. It's okay for people to change their mind. I think if there wasn't so much stigma around it, like, why would you quit doing that? You're so good at it. Sometimes that's not where your heart's at. That's the simplest answer. My heart just wasn't in it anymore. I just didn't want to do it.
While you were writing though, at that time, were there any songs that you wrote, you were like, maybe I should keep this one for myself?
I get asked that question a lot. Is actually no. There were some times where like the business was bad and it was like,
okay,
I might not have known that there was a song out or, that a song was on a project until it was out.
okay,
Or like until it was charting. And I'm getting like texts like, congratulations. I'm like, for what? Those times were like obviously very frustrating. But for the most part, I'm in a service position. Like as a songwriter, you are here to be the interpreter and the translator of people's perspectives and thoughts and melodies and lyric, whatever they have, whatever they present to you. It's your job to turn that into something that is palatable for the world. And, barring everybody communicates that before they go in the room, yeah, like, it's your song. I wrote that for you. I think there are times though when like the industry is what it is and people are, can be super manipulative, maybe like don't have the courage to just flat out say what it is or ask for what they want. And those are the times when it's just like, it's not necessarily the song, but it's more so like I regret engaging in the whole situation.
Yeah.
because it's like,
Got it.
you didn't have to lie and tell me, because a lot of times people be like, oh yeah, I want to work on your artist project. And then they get me in the studio. Next couple of days, I'm getting phone calls like, yo, Rihanna's gonna cut it, or, I'm just using her name, but like,
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah,
it could
totally
just
understand.
be
Yeah.
anybody, like XYZ artist wants to cut it,
Yeah.
So those were times
Okay.
where actually like really frustrating, but everything happens for a reason. Every song that I've ever had a placement with another artist or got cut by somebody else has all led me to the place where I can be Muni Long and, actually have long money.
Gotcha. And talking about Muni Long, how did you come up with the name, and especially the spelling of your name is very unique?
So I do a lot of reading and research, and I was doing some of my personal studies one day, and I came across this word in Filipino. It's actually pronounced Muni, and it means to think deeply from within. And I love that because I am always like self-localizing and checking myself with myself and checking the world around me with my heart and making sure that every choice that I make is because it's purely something that I want to do. And so we adopted that name, and my husband was like, you should pronounce it money though. And I was like, that's fire. And then
Okay.
my team was like, I think money needs a last name. And so I can't remember if I was listening to a song or if I was just like randomly blurting it out, probably the second one, but I will always just be like, hair long, money long. And I was doing that one day and I was like, that's it.
That's
Money
it. Yeah. Okay. So being a solo artist is one thing, but you started your own label, Super Giant Records.
Mhm.
How did that come about, and what made you say, hey, listen, let me start this label? And do you have any artists that you're working with yet, or your team is working with yet, that you can maybe tell us about?
So Super Giant was the name that my husband came up with, and the meaning behind it is like a super giant is the biggest star in the galaxy. Bigger, like, I don't even want to lie to you, but I want to say it's like hundreds of thousands of times bigger than the sun. It's huge. Um, and so obviously the significance there is that
Yes.
we want to have the biggest stars in the world. There are no other artists yet on Super Giant Records because we're still building Muni Long. Building an artist requires a tremendous amount of effort. Definitely want to focus on continuing the Muni Long
Yes.
journey before we overcommit ourselves. But there's so much talent out there. I know there's not going to be a shortage of choices when we are ready. And then I think, it was just sort of like more of like a statement than anything of like, no label really wants to sign me. They don't want to go out on a limb. So I'm gonna start my own label and I'm gonna sign myself.
Okay. Okay. Compared with R&B from the 90s and the 2000s, what are your thoughts on R&B, the genre now? And do you think anything is missing with R&B right now?
I think like there's so many successful R&B ladies: Kehlani, Summer Walker, SZA, her, she's incredible. LMA, Queen Naija. There's so many, and I think everything has its place, and everything happens in divine timing. Is like I think obviously there was a space for hours and hours, or else it wouldn't be doing what it's doing.
Yeah.
But the comparison trap is a real thing. And it's like I think everybody is entitled to express themselves the way that they see fit. And hopefully the goal is to inspire each other and push each other to be greater. I'm a fan of collaboration. So, hopefully there's some of that in the future. I love Chloe and Halle. I just, I think it is what it is. Like there's some amazing R&B out there that I myself enjoy listening to. I personally loved X for a reason, Summer Walker. I just, it's going in the direction that it's supposed to go in. So yeah.
I definitely got a chance to interview Chloe, and I want to say this: both of you guys' energy are amazing, and I think that collaboration would be crazy. Do you have any other I want to say, do you have any dream collabs that, hey, listen, because it seems like you're very well connected from being a songwriter and stuff like that. So do you have any like collabs that you would love to be?
Everybody. Like, yeah, like I just want to work with anybody who has like, there's super creators, right? Like Kanye, Pharrell, Drake, The Weeknd, Beyonce, um, Missy Elliott. Of course, I would love to work with them, but I think again, everything in due time. Like I'm not gonna rush nothing.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I'm in a place where like everything gonna happen the way it's supposed to happen,
Everything's
man.
gonna happen.
No stress,
You're
no
right.
pressure.
And talking about everything happening the way it's supposed to happen, let's get into the song, Hours and Hours. How did you come about it? Does it have any significance with your husband being involved? Like, tell us about it.
I mean, yeah, I think I would have not been able to write about love the way that I was writing about it if I hadn't experienced it. So absolutely. My husband definitely influenced it in that way. I don't know. It was just like stream of consciousness. I think that's just the song that God wanted me to write that day.
Okay. Did you know it was going to take off like this? Did you have like that feeling like, hey, listen, this is going to be.
No.
Wow.
No, I just liked it a lot. And so did my friends. And it's really very that simple. It's like if everybody sort of has the same reaction within a small group, you can sort of gauge that the wide vast majority of people will have that same reaction.
Was that the reason you added it to the EP after, or that didn't happen around that time?
I think I had a couple other songs that were in consideration, but after I cut it, I was like, guys, something is telling me we should put this one on there.
So you had a little feeling. You had a little feeling. You knew something was telling you that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same kind of feeling when I'm writing a song. It's like, it's the God whisper. I just pay attention. It's like, when you're getting ready to leave out of your house and something tells you, grab a jacket, and you do it. And then you realize like later on, you need the jacket.
I got you. Now, off of the EP, what is one of your favorite songs that mean a lot to you? If you had to pick
Hours and Hours.
It's kind of hard, right?
Hours and Hours and Ain't Easy. Those two, they just have a lot of feeling.
Okay. So I want to talk about to-do lists. I'm married as well. I heard in your other interview, you've been married, 8-9 years? I've been married 13 years. And I feel that sometimes, we make to-do lists and we forget about our spouse. Was this something that, you was like, hey, listen, this is also something that kind of like giving women advice or giving people in general advice? Hey, listen, you can add a person to your to-do list.
I mean, it was just like being cheeky, like, a play on words. But I mean, like for a busy person like myself, sometimes you do have to like make a note, like, okay, I'm going to spend time with my boo today,
Yeah. Okay. So let's get into you being invited to the studio with Diddy. How was that? How was that experience? Was that your first time really getting to hang out with Diddy? Like, can you tell us about that?
No, I've known Diddy for years. He invited me last night. He wanted to just like get in the vibe and sit with me and just like get to know Muni Long because he knows me as Priscilla. And we met as a songwriter. Well, he met me when I was a songwriter. So last night it was so fun, man. It was like such an honor to just sit with him and listen to music and allow him to hear what I'm doing. I mean, we all were raised on 90s, 2000s Diddy, pop, Black R&B pop music. So it was an honor.
Okay. Any secrets you could tell us about, or nah, you can't tell us about any tracks? Because I know Diddy always working. Even though you were hanging out, I know Diddy always working. Are we gonna get something?
For me, we were just vibing, so it was like nothing.
Okay, it was a vibe.
Talk about. Yeah, it's like he was just playing me things and just trying to get on each other's same frequency.
Got it. Okay. Looking through your Instagram, you really make a point of highlighting your fans' rendition of your song, and their everyday life. Do you feel it's important to showcase them on your feed? And do you find like inspiration from it and like your own creativity from it?
I think it's really important to like support people the way they support you, and like it's an even exchange. Like people, doing covers and dancing to it. I mean, honestly, I'm inspired by the like the vast amount of ways that people are using these sounds, like from chefs to dancers, like hairstylists, makeup artists, all the singers that came out the woodwork.
Yes.
It's super inspiring, and like some of them really blow me away. So when I'm sharing it, it's things that I actually resonate with, things that are like
Yes.
actually cool to me. I know a lot of people get mad because I might not repost their things, but I'm like, either I didn't
It's like a
see it
million
or I
people.
didn't really like it. You know, it's nothing,
Yeah.
nothing personal. I just didn't like it. Try not to hurt people's feelings though. So yeah.
Okay. So the last thing I want to ask about social media, because it has changed the landscape of how people introduce music to everyone. Your early success, YouTube, now TikTok with hours and hours. Do you think breaking music through social media kind of, it makes it difficult to stay true to the artistry, or, you know, just like, because some people I feel like are just trying to get a viral moment. So what do you feel about that?
I think it's a vital part of like the climate right now. I think you're not taking advantage of the tools in front of you if you're not on TikTok and you're not. I mean, I just proved it, right? You got to use the tools. Like, I mean,
Yes.
it's so easy, right? It's like all you got to do is like share the music, show your personality, and if people like it, they take it and go. You know, I think staying connected with the youth and what they like is the quickest way to figure out like what's going to happen in the future. And I learned that from people like Mariah, Mary J, Madonna, people who have consistently like reinvented themselves and their careers span decades. You got to tap in with what the kids are doing. So, you know, you can't be like an old miser talking trash about the way that kids want to consume their music, you know. And yes, there are a lot of people who try to go viral, but it's all about authenticity, just being your most authentic self and giving people quality content. It's a win.
Okay. So what's next for Muni Long?
More music, lots of music videos. I'm just about to be everywhere. Like, I don't have no plans on letting up anytime soon.
Okay. And yet, I know behind the scenes we spoke slightly about it, but you're thinking of doing something, showcase something, you know, something for the fans soon?
Yeah, so we're putting together a show. Hopefully it'll be around like Valentine's. And that'll be the show where I bring the 2 contest winners. I had a karaoke, Hours and Hours karaoke challenge. So they'll get to perform with me there. Or at something. I mean, I'm gonna figure. I have several performances coming up. Yeah, so I have a few shows coming up, and I'm excited because it'll really be the first time that I get to perform Hours and Hours because I haven't performed it yet.
Okay. Thank you so much for stopping by the Exeqtive Suite. Can you please introduce to the people your hit single, Hours and Hours?
What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Muni Long, and this is my new song, Hours and Hours.